Are the Atlanta Falcons about to turn their biggest salary cap headache into a valuable trade asset? Kirk Cousins might be quietly orchestrating one of the most impressive comeback stories of the 2025 season without even taking a snap in a game that matters. While the football world has been focused on Michael Penix Jr.'s development and Atlanta's expensive quarterback dilemma, something interesting has been happening behind the scenes in Flowery Branch. Cousins, despite being benched last season and facing an uncertain future, appears to be methodically rebuilding his value through his approach to what could easily have been a toxic situation. Let's break down how Cousins is playing the long game and why his silence might be the loudest statement he could make about his future in the NFL. The narrative around Kirk Cousins heading into the season was pretty straightforward. Expensive mistake, damaged goods, unmovable contract. After throwing 16 interceptions in 2024 and losing his starting job to a rookie, most people wrote him off as another cautionary tale about big money free agent signings gone wrong. But if you've been paying attention to the reports coming out of Falcons camp, a different story is starting to emerge. Raheem Morris's comments after Wednesday's practice paint a picture of a quarterback who has used his time away from the spotlight wisely. The improvement in Cousins' mobility, which Morris specifically highlighted, addresses one of the biggest concerns about his game following the Achilles injury. When you're dealing with a quarterback who was never particularly mobile to begin with, any improvement in that area represents significant progress in his overall effectiveness. But here's what's really fascinating about Morris's assessment. He's not just talking about physical improvements. The emphasis on Cousins' work with the coaching staff and his communication with Penix suggests a level of professionalism and leadership that goes beyond what you'd expect from someone who's essentially been told he's no longer wanted as a starter. This is where Cousins' approach becomes masterful. Instead of creating drama, demanding trades, or sulking about a situation, he's quietly doing everything right. He's mentoring the young quarterback who replaced him, he's buying into the system, and he's showing the kind of veteran leadership that NFL teams desperately value. In a league where quarterback controversies can destroy locker rooms, Cousins is actually enhancing his reputation by handling an impossible situation with grace. The timing of his character display couldn't be better. While Cousins has been rebuilding his image in Atlanta, the quarterback landscape across the NFL has been shifting. Injuries to players like Justin Fields and Jordan Love have already created potential opportunities. And as Morris pointed out, turnover issues were really the only thing that derailed Cousins' 2024 season. If he can demonstrate ball security in practice and limited action, he becomes a much more attractive option for teams facing quarterback emergencies. The Matthew Stafford situation in Los Angeles presents perhaps the most intriguing possibility. The connections between the Rams and Falcons organizations run deep, with Morris and offensive coordinator Zach Robinson both having ties to Sean McVay's system. More importantly, the Rams are in win-now mode with an aging roster, and if Stafford's back issues become a long-term problem, they can't afford to waste a season with an improving backup. What makes the Rams connection even more compelling is a philosophical fit. McVay's offense, which Robinson helped implement in Atlanta, could be the perfect system for Cousins to rediscover his effectiveness. The quick-hitting passing game and emphasis on getting the ball out fast would minimize the mobility concerns while maximizing Cousins' strengths as a pocket passer. But Cousins isn't just positioning himself for one specific opportunity. By demonstrating his value as a mentor and showing improved physical condition, he's making himself attractive to any team that might suddenly find itself in need of veteran quarterback help. The NFL season is long and unpredictable, and having a former starter who's proven he can handle pressure situations becomes incredibly valuable when injuries inevitably occur. The decision not to play Cousins in preseason games is actually brilliant strategy from both sides. Atlanta doesn't want to risk injury to their expensive backup, while Cousins avoids the potential for bad tape that could hurt his trade value. Instead, he gets to build his reputation through practice reports and behind-the-scenes professionalism, which might be more valuable than a few series against third-string defenders anyway. What's particularly impressive about Cousins' approach is how he's managed to increase his trade value while simultaneously not burning bridges with his current organization. He's expressed interest in being traded to a place where he can start, but he's done so professionally and without creating unnecessary drama. This mature handling of a difficult situation only enhances his appeal to potential suitors who want veteran leadership without the baggage that often comes with disgruntled players. The Falcons, meanwhile, have to be thrilled with how the situation has developed. Instead of dealing with a toxic locker room presence who could undermine Penix's development, they have a professional veteran who's actually helping their young quarterback while quietly rebuilding his own market value. If a trade opportunity does arise, they'll be able to market Cousins as a mentor and leader rather than just an expensive mistake they're trying to dump. The reality is that Cousins' situation could change overnight. One significant injury to a starting quarterback on a contending team, and suddenly Atlanta could find themselves with multiple suitors for their expensive backup. And because Cousins has handled himself so professionally, teams won't have to worry about character concerns or locker room disruption when evaluating a potential trade. This quiet campaign to rebuild his value represents exactly the kind of veteran savvy that has defined Cousins' career. He understands that actions speak louder than words, and by focusing on being the best teammate and mentor he can be, he's positioning himself for whatever opportunity might arise next. The question now is whether this patient approach will pay off with a trade to a contending team, or if Cousins will need to prove his worth as Atlanta's backup for the entire season. Either way, his handling of the situation has been nothing short of masterful. What do you think about Kirk Cousins' approach to this difficult situation? Is his professionalism going to pay off with a trade opportunity, or should he be more vocal about wanting out of Atlanta? Let me know in the comments, and make sure to hit that like button if you think Cousins is playing this exactly right.